Let us see something about network layer performance. The upper layer protocols that use the service of the network layer expect to receive an ideal service, but the network layer is not perfect. The performance of the network can be measured in terms of delay, throughput, and packet loss. Congestion control is also an issue that can improve the performance. What is what is this delay? All of us expect instantaneous response from a network, but a packet from its source to its destination encounters delays. The delays in a network can be divided into four types: transmission delay, propagation delay, processing delay, and queuing delay. So, what is this transmission delay? A source host or a router cannot send a packet instantaneously. A sender needs to put the bits in a packet on the line one by one. If the first bit of the packets is put on the line at time t1 and the last bit is put at the line at time t2, transmission delay of the packet is t2 minus t1. So definitely the transmission delay is longer for the longer packet and shorter if the sender can transmit faster. So transmission delay is packet length divided by transmission rate. So in case of fast Ethernet LAN, transmission rate will be like 100 million bits per second, and a packet of 10,000 bits. It takes 10,000 by 100 million, that is so it is going to be 100 microseconds for all bits of the packet to be put on the line. So what is propagation delay? It is the time taken for a bit to travel from a point A to B in a transmission media. So this propagation delay for packet switch network depends on the propagation delay of the network, and it depends on the propagation speed of the media as well. So propagation delay is equal to distance by propagation speed. Next one is processing delay. It is the time required for a router or a destination host to receive a packet from its input port, remove the header, perform an error reduction procedure, and deliver the packet to the output port, and deliver the packet to the upper layer protocol. So the processing delay may be different for each packet, but normally it is calculated as an average. So processing delay is time required to process a packet in a router or a destination host. Finally, what is queuing delay? It is normally depending upon the router. So as we will discuss in the next section, a router has an input queue connected to each of its input ports to store packets waiting to be processed. So the router also has an output queue connected to each of its output ports to store packets waiting to be transmitted. So this time when the packet waits in the queue is called queuing delay. And queuing delay is the time of a packet waiting in input and output queue in a router. So the total delay is calculated as n plus 1 into transmission delay plus propagation delay plus propagation delay, that is processing delay, plus n into queuing delay. And we have n routers and n plus 1 links. So that is why we have this queuing delay at n routers. So the next performance is throughput. It is defined as the number of bits passing through a point in a second, which is actually the transmission rate of the data at that point. In a path from source to destination, a packet may pass through several links or networks, each with a different transmission rate. So how can we determine the throughput of the whole path? So if we consider this situation from source to destination, the path may be different and each link may have some different transmission rates. So the transmission rate of this link is 200 kbps, here it is 100, and here it is 150. This is similar to the simulation of these pipes. So we have a bottleneck over here, and when the transmission rate is less in between, in that case the data arrives at R1 with the data rate of 200 kbps. It cannot pass through at this rate through link 2. So the data needs to be queued at the router and sent at 100 kbps. When the data arrives at R2, it could be sent at the rate of 150, but there is no enough data to be sent. So it has to wait, the average rate is 100, so it has to be gathered and sent through that one. So at both the places, so in between, in this link we have this bottleneck. So the total throughput is considered to be the minimum of TR1, TR2, TR3 and TRN. So that is the bottleneck. The weakest link is the strength of the chain. So when we see about the path through the whole internet backbone, so we require to calculate, there are going to be several links, and the internet backbone has a very high transmission rate. So that is going to be in range of several gigabits per second. So this means that the throughput is normally defined as the minimum transmission rate of the two access links that connect the source and the destination to the backbone of the internet. So here TR1 or TR2. So whichever is the minimum, that is considered to be the throughput of the connection. And so that is why the user, when he wants to download a file, connects to the internet via dial-up telephone line, then the data rate is 40 kbps, whereas the that is the bottleneck of the dial-up line. Whereas if he connects through direct connectivity with copper cable or fiber cable, then he will have very good communication and the data rate will be more. So what is the effect of throughput in shared links? So when it is going to be shared link, the link between two routers is not always dedicated line, unless you have dedicated line between the source and the destination. A router may collect the flow from several sources and distribute the flow between the several sources. So in this case, the transmission rate of the link between the two routers is actually shared between the flows, and this should be considered when we calculate the throughput. For example, in this figure, the transmission rate of the main link is 600 kbps. So the throughput can be 600 kbps by 3. So totally on average, each path has or is considered to have 200 kbps. And packet loss is next factor, where it is another issue that severely affects the performance of the communication, and it is the number of packets lost during transmission. The effect of packet loss on internet network layer is that the packet needs to be resent, which in turn may create overflow and cause more packet loss. So there is also another factor of congestion control, which is a mechanism for improving the performance. So we will discuss about that one in the transport layer, but in congestion at network layer is explicitly addressed in the internet model. So the study of congestion at this layer will help us to better understand the cause of congestion at transport layer. So it is related to two issues, throughput and delay. So if delay is minimum and the throughput is higher, then the congestion will be automatically reduced. And when the load is below the capacity of the network, the throughput increases proportionally with the load. So we expect the throughput to remain constant after the load reaches the capacity, but instead the throughput declines sharply. So the reason is discarding the packets by the routers. So when the load exceeds the capacity, the queues may become full and the router may discard some packets. So discarding packets does not reduce the number of packets in the network, but sources retransmit the packet and due to timeout mechanism, because they do not reach the destination. So we should be careful about the packet loss. So let us see about the remaining parts in the next class. Thank you.